For the past 18 years, the Calabar Carnival, simply known as Carnival Calabar, has brought together men and women from all walks of life to converge on the soil of the nation's paradise. As an annual event, it has been characterized by diverse cultural displays that portrays the culture of the land and that of the participating countries. This again provides a platform for lots of activities that showcase a street parade for dancers and pageants. This year's carnival is not different from others, as it is filled with lots of fanfares and entertainments to the delight of everyone. Described as the pride of Nigeria, the Calabar Carnival is usually a one-month activity which begins on the 1st of December and finishes on the New Year's Eve, the 31st of December. It is therefore without a doubt the biggest, best and longest tourism event in West Africa, which is on record to attract over 2 million revelers and features participants from over 25 different countries. The Battle of the Bands and Street Parade is even broadcast to a television audience of around 50 million. Despite the unfortunate and unexpected incident that happened when a vehicle was said to have lost control and rammed into a crowd of onlookers during the carnival, the celebration is still in its peak. Now, the event is almost coming to an end. What are the inherent potentials that can be sustained? This and more will form the crux of our discussion on the program. I am Eucharia Clinton. Welcome to Nigeria Today. To discuss 2022 Calabar Carnival with me in the studio is Tomilola Akimbogun, former president, Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria and Hotel Owners Forum Abuja. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
And joining us via Zoom is Gabriel Honor, Chairman, Calabar Carnival Commission. Glad to have you join us on the program.
Hello, viewers.
Okay, so Africa's biggest street party is back after a 2-year break. How does it feel to be back on the street of Calabar with the carnival?
Well, I call it fireworks. I call it welcome back home to the home of hospitality, the home of warmth, and Africa's biggest welcome.
Have been very boring within these 2 years that the event was suspended. How has it been?
I lost you out there, Eucharia.
I said it must have been very boring for these 2 years that the event was suspended. Within the,
oh yes, it was tough, and we would also realize that arising from the onset of the pandemic, nobody was left untouched. The whole world was locked in. And the tourism industry was the most hit because people couldn't travel. Carnival Calabar had her share. And what we have done now is to come back to reinvent and deriving from the foundations of our heritage, we went to town. And what you find now is that potpourri of a mix. The platform for cultural diplomacy, love, and Africa's warmest welcome.
Thank you very much. Sir, Calabar Carnival has become Nigeria's biggest carnival, and of course it has gained international recognition. So how would you describe the carnival in terms of the impact it has had on tourism in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Just like the last speaker said, when you asked about the last 2 years, the pandemic, of course, affected tourism extremely and negatively. That most of the businesses closed down. And in many advanced countries, of course, there were support because tourism itself and hospitality especially were affected. They were closed down. And these are lines of businesses that sustain a high number of population. So to make sure that people are still able to continue employment, gainful employment, most countries supported the hospitality and tourism in general. However, I don't think we have that. But go back to the carnival. The carnival, of course, affects the Calabar Carnival. It's about the biggest economic diversion to the state. If you look at it, 30 days of street happiness, dancing, activities, cultural displays. Just take a look at the tailor that's even sewing the outfit. They are busy. It's not a thing that they will do in a day or a month. They must have been preparing for about 6 months at least. The hotels in Calabar, for example, of course, they are busy now. So the food sellers, the farmers, the transporters, even those who are selling water, because if you are walking for miles and dancing, you are going to. So the carnival itself has a massive economic impact on the state, and it's something that every other state in Nigeria needs to copy. There's nothing wrong. Now we've got about over 200 million people. For us to have a carnival every month in every different state, and that will keep millions of people employed. It's something we really need to encourage other states to copy good things from others. It's a big thing that started 18 years ago, and it's a good thing that they've been able to sustain it, and they still continue to improve. And because if you keep on repeating something, you get better at it. So I think Calabar has really proven. We were there, and we saw that if you a few days after the carnival, you go to Calabar, you see the streets are clean. The cleaners are also affected. So they are busy cleaning every day as the carnival is even going on. They are cleaning. Everyone, taxi drivers, even the motorcycle riders, everyone is affected. It's a big, massive thing that we really need to encourage, and everybody should be in Calabar next year if you're not there this year.
Okay, Mr. Gabriel, we must take cognizance of the fact that there was an unfortunate incident that occurred during the carnival, recently, and from this end, our condolences. We understand a lot of persons, some persons lost their lives, and we also heard of what the governor is doing to, alleviate their pain. And we want to find out how has this affected the mood, because we must also take cognizance of the fact that some persons are also grieving even while the carnival is on. So how has this affected the mood of the carnival?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to the victims of this incident. Very unfortunate. We had this situation where a motorist broke into the barriers and ran into tourists, and the community, people who were waiting to observe the bikers parade. While I sympathize with these families, it took a toll on us, and for the first time in the 18 years history of Carnival Calabar, we've never experienced this before. We've always said that we are the home of peace, and that is why we have always fallen back on our acronym Calabar, come and live and be at rest. But this quite took us aback, and His Excellency the Governor swung into action, and the fellow who was breaking the rule was arrested and is still in detention. We, as a forward-looking government, we immediately took up responsibility to treat the unfortunate, and we appeal to the community that as a global event, the show must go on. And the sole reason, the flag off of the event was a bit lethargic, no doubt, because we are talking about loss of human life, and as a peace-loving people, and as people who are so keen on being your brother's keeper, we were taken aback. But after a while, the city reconciled herself with the fact that we need to move on, and it was exactly why the event of the Bikers Carnival was cancelled, immediately cancelled, and the flag off of the carnival itself delayed. It was supposed to have been for 10 a.m., but he decided now that we shall use this period to offer succor to the injured and to the families of the departed. And this took us until 3 p.m. when we flagged off the carnival, which made the carnival dovetail into 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. this morning. Above all, the high flag off, high takeoff point experienced some kind of slack, but not thereafter. Everybody took on the streets, and the rest is what you see today, with that great color and warmth we offer the world. And to add voice to my senior colleague and brother, the EFTA and former president, this sector is didactic theater that offers learning. It is development theater. The socio-economic impact of this subsector, of this concept, cannot be measured. Everybody, the entire community is engaged. Today we have received 8 nations, starting from Brazil, the Cameroons, Ghana, South Africa, Ethiopia, Lithuania, and of course, our next door neighbor, Benin Republic. They are all here to savor the carnival in an international event tonight, and it will be a competitive carnival with Carnival Calabar itself that represents Nigeria. There is no place you can measure peace or social and cultural diplomacy than in a cultural fiesta. What we have done is to take it to the next level so that the economy of the community can be impacted, so that everybody will smile at the end of the day if we get it right. Thank you.
You mentioned a lot of countries that attended the carnival, no doubt internationally recognized. So how best can Nigeria further take advantage of this well-attended event?
Nigeria is the leading country in Africa in different fields, from economy to population, even the music, art, culture, Festac, you remember the Festac and all that. We are noted for leading Africa. So in itself, the carnival itself is already known globally. The only thing we need to do is to make sure we start planning early and take the advertisement on to the international scale, because there are many international tourism markets that we need to package the Calabar Carnival, because actually it's not that Nigeria is not represented most of this tourism, but we don't go there with products. That's the problem with Nigeria.
I'll stop you right here.
Okay.
Let's take a break here and hear from a cross-section of people from the streets of Calabar on what they feel about the 2022 Calabar Carnival, as put together by our correspondent, Ekemini Williams.
After the COVID, we were supposed to expect something very nice this time around, but just look at it, by this time, the street lights aren't on. And the next band that was supposed to perform, it was Freedom Band. They were actually at a hold, do you get, because there was no light. So they managed to bring some stage light just for them to perform. But even at that, we are not seeing what's happening over there. And in less than no time, this place will become very rowdy, like everybody's going to run for their day lives. Yes. Yes, because even as you're standing, since you're not seeing who is standing behind you, somebody's trying to scratch your pocket. It's not funny.
I'm going to Christmas village with meet my senior brother, so I don't know what's actually going on. So instead of me to stand with you and watch, I have to carry along.
We are not happy. Look at a carnival of this nature. There's no street light, nothing. And look at what we are suffering in the period of insecurity.
Nigeria started off as an agro economy, and with the discovery of oil, we neglected leveraging on our agro resources, the cocoa, the oil palm, the rice, the groundnut pyramid, and eventually, when we squandered our ability, our agro resources, and focused on oil and gas, there was a depth where we went to. But now there's a resurgence, there's a realization that we need to focus on the real economy.
Welcome back. The program is still Nigeria Today, and I'm still with my guests here. You had the reaction of the people here, and a lot of persons they are not really happy about the situation. No lights, no street lights, which of course is very important. You know, the issue of insecurity there was highlighted. So what does it tell? How does it portray us?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that something failed. And I'm sure the organizers will have learned a very great lesson. Nobody will actually plan such a big event with a plan not to actually provide adequate backup for power, especially in Nigeria. We know that electricity in Nigeria is unstable. And of course, if you have a backup, you've got to have a second backup. But unfortunately, we saw that it didn't work out. I'm sure the organizers will investigate. There's definitely no way, I'm sure, they planned for that to happen.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. Gabriel now. Mr. Gabriel, you had the reaction of people there. No street lights. A lot of them are not really happy with the situation. So what's going on?
Yes, truly, it's quite unfortunate. It was an unfortunate incident that lasted about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's a long time in a performance of that nature. True, in the words of my senior brother out there, the power light you see out there is a backup to NEPA, because the street lights of Calabar is powered by an NIPP. So, but these things happen at times, and they are man-made. We ensured that after about 40 minutes, we restored power on the carnival route. And that carried on till this morning, 3 a.m. when we shut down. And it is the first time we are having this kind of experience. And I can also confess that in 2012, during the children's carnival at the stadium, there was a blackout for about 5 minutes. But those were generators that were powering the floodlights. They shut down and they came back automatically. But this happened yesterday, and it was quite unfortunate. And the spectators showed great, commitment. Apart from these few incidents of people who get crazy, given an opportunity of this nature, we saw again and again that participants to the carnival, observants to the carnival, join the revelers, join the performers in performing, and this is rare.
very much, Mr.
but
Gabriel.
it was restored.
Thank you very much. No, the incident that happened, where we lost some lives, do you think it will affect this carnival in subsequent years? People want to be safe wherever they are, given the fact that we're also inviting people from other countries. So will it affect the image of the carnival?
I don't think it will affect the image permanently. Okay. Definitely, temporarily it will. But also, we will ask the media to support the good side. There's nowhere in the world where we don't have accidents happening once in a while. But we shouldn't concentrate so much on the negative. We should concentrate on the positive side. The effect of the carnival on the whole community and the country in general. So if we keep on repeating the good ones and the sad part, we will forget it. Okay. So I think I will challenge the media that we should bring out the good part and let us learn from the errors, the power failure, the accident. Of course, there can be buffer zones and all that to be created to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yes.
Anything can happen anytime.
And what are the potentials? What are the potentials we can, tap from this carnival, given the fact that Nigeria is rich in culture and there are a lot of tourist sites that are yet to be developed? How can we, transform this sector into boosting the economy? Yeah,
you mentioned the tourist centers, tourist centers that need to be, that are not yet
developed.
Developed, yes. Because the Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria, which I led for some years, which is still very active, we have been very vocal that actually government has no business in business. All government needs to do is to encourage private investors and managers to take over the tourist centers and develop them and make funds available, affordable funds, because tourism itself, Calabar is carnival is 18 years. I mean, look at the amount of money they have spent before it gets to this level. The private sector should have access to affordable fund. We are talking about something below 10% interest rate and long-term investment, because tourism itself, it's a long-term project and employs and takes over, covers a lot of population, the highest number of employers in the country.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gabriel, how has this carnival transformed the state? Because one of the reasons why it was initiated in the first place was to boost the local economy and to make Calabar the #1 tourist site. So how has it been? How has the state been transformed, and how has it impacted in the lives of the indigenes?
Well, I'll tell you something. Before 1999, when that young leadership led by His Excellency Governor Duke took control of the young state, you could call crossover state on number 35 or number 36. But the moment we identified our strength, that our strength was in our culture, and that the palm oil with which we could use to eat our tourism was our culture, and that our culture was indeed our own oil well, we decided to latch on to it. And since then, we haven't looked back. And we set out that we are going to be #1 tourism destination in Nigeria. We decided to develop world-class tourist products. We converted all our sites, most of our sites, to destinations through the introduction of differentials, and we were deliberate in all the steps. We looked at the icons, the different icons of roots tourism, conference tourism, and of course events tourism that leads to experience. And the carnival itself falls under experience tourism. You need to come to feel it. You need to come to savour. You need to come to enjoy it. And as you are expending yourself, you're spending money. This has been used in communities, and we have gone into community-based tourism initiative we've gone into responsible tourism, where the locals are engaged in tour guiding skills, memorabilia that they will sell to tourists when they come into the city of Calabar. Of course, today, the private sector in the hoteling business, conference centers, or eateries have expanded, and they pay tax in return to government. In the words of the former F-time president, the investment of government in the last 20 years is just about paying off. Gestation in the tourism sector is probably longer than in agriculture. But you are looking at the human factor and the jobs that you create along the line.
We don't have time, we're out of time. Thank you very much. And that's it on this episode of the program Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to our guest, Gabriel Honor, Chairman, Calabar Carnival Commission. It has been quite interesting and informative. Thank you very much for coming. Chairman, Calabar Carnival Commission. It has been quite interesting. And also Tomilola Akimbogu, former President, Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria, and hotel owners from Forum Abuja. We appreciate your coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And for you, our viewer, thank you very much for always being there. And don't you forget, the program airs every weekday by 7:30 in the evening on NTA News 24. You can watch this episode and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am Ikaria Clinton.